Hello students, so this video is designed to introduce you to the assignment 1 instructions and give you some more clarification about how to go about creating this assignment in a way that's going to demonstrate what you have learned. So first here you'll see that the Bureau of Justice Statistics is cited as one of the most popular websites, government websites for crime and criminal justice data and victimization data, and that's the reason why I call upon it to help you understand it. Now, going back to chapter 2 and even parts of chapter 1, you'll see that there's been information that you have been exposed to thus far that talks about crime and victimization. Why is a crime and not just a form of deviance that's not necessarily punishable by law. So all these various basic facts are things that may not seem to have much of an impact on your writing here for this assignment, but it actually does. And then as we work our way through more of chapter 2, you'll get some understanding of some of the trends and patterns that we've seen in crime and victimization over time. And so this assignment should be a really good stepping stone moving forward as we examine more closely criminal law and theories of crime later in the semester. So looking here, you can see that you have to choose one of the 3 statistical reports. These are not articles that tell you here are the crimes that occur and here are why they occurred. That's not the purpose of these particular articles. They're done by statisticians, not criminologists. So as a student in this course, you're what I consider a novice criminologist at this point. You are being exposed to the data. We've talked about this already in this course, and you'll have to start thinking about why it is that some of these things occur. And there has been some glimpses using chapter 1 and chapter 2 information thus far as to why these crimes are occurring and these patterns over time, whether it be an increase or decrease or a stable number for any given crime. So going to the BJS website, one thing you'll want to do is click here on victims. And after you do that, it will truncate a list of several of the latest publications regarding criminal victimization. And so the one we're most interested in, 2 of the 3 for this particular assignment are here, Criminal Victimization 2018. You'll want to make sure that you click on the full report, not the summary. And that's because there's some nuanced information in this full report that's not in the summary that if you don't reasonably conclude it or include it in your paper, that could lead to a deduction of points. Now, that being said, it's impossible for you to cover all the statistics in the report in your paper. That's not the goal of the paper. But in order to have the best start to your writing in this course, you need the most information that you can funnel down. And so that's the reason why I use the full report, not the summary report. Looking here, the second article is Victims of Identity Theft 2016. Please pay attention to the years and make sure it aligns with the article that you're looking at that are in the instructions as well, because there are other earlier years, as we see here, 2017, 2016, that are going to ultimately show different patterns, and thus that will be a deduction if you were to use the wrong one. Now, the one article that is in the assignment instructions that isn't on this particular website right now is the rape and sexual assault. But an easy solution would be for you to go over here in keywords and type out rape and sexual assault. For some reason, while recording this video, I've had this happen several times. If I were to type this out now, it's going to stop the video and pull up some kind of editing function that I don't need. So again, under keywords, you'll want to type out the title, rape and sexual assault. Once you click submit, it's going to list some results, and you'll see that the second link is the one that you'll want. You'll click on it, and again, you'll find the full report. For the sake of our exploration here, I'm going to use this full report from this one to give you a glimpse. Now, you might be looking at this and saying 37 pages. Oh my goodness. Do I expect you to write 37 pages for an article, or do I expect you to use all these? No. Only about half of this article is actually stats and stuff. The other part is methodology and some things you don't need. So if we look here, you get several charts and graphs and things like that that are illustrating patterns of crime and victimization over time. For the sake of not exhausting the entire article, you can see some major things here. So for example, figure 1 states percent of U.S. residents aged 12 or older who were victims of violent crime. And as you see here, there was a peak between 1993 and 1995, according to these data, and a quite substantial decline since then. And that's a major overarching pattern that you want to recognize here with this information. A similar pattern is shown here in figure 3 and some of the other ones. It's up to you how you wish to report this information. I would strongly recommend that you don't just simply summarize the highlights. That's not going to give you much insight, but rather if you go to each respective topic, for example, victimization estimates, and it gives you some idea about, which groups are victimized in which ways, I would come up with a list of anywhere from 4 to maybe 6 major statistical facts and cite those and cushion them with information that's from your perspective. And that's essentially what you'll be doing for your summary of these respective articles. Now, going back to the assignment instructions, an introduction all of you should be aware of. You want to introduce the main thesis of the paper. What is it? Why are you writing this paper? Why did you choose that particular article to write about? And a brief preview of what's to come. You're going to be summarizing the stats as I just mentioned, and you want to paraphrase. Again, don't list anything verbatim. It's going to drive up that plagiarism report number, and I will be checking. And then the analysis comes after the fact. So you have reported 5, 6, 7 stats, overarching stats, and don't just list them out. Really, again, cushion them with bits of information that will be helpful for the reader. Assume you're not writing to me. Assume you're writing to someone who doesn't know anything about crime and victimization and needs this to be communicated in a clear and concise way. So what are the causes? This is where you start to theorize. You don't have to have all the answers, but you should use your intellect and an informed perspective based on some of the information that you've read and heard in this class thus far. So if it's something off the wall that doesn't fit in with this course, it's not going to sit well or bode well for you in your feedback of this particular assignment. What things stand out at you? And I don't need a literal, the one thing that surprised me was this, but something very much along the lines of most of the general public would think that crime had been increasing over that period of time and not decreasing. And that in and of itself should be something that goes against the grain, if you will. So really kind of articulating what is, an anomaly based off of what we would think in our society. And then the implications. If we know crime has been decreasing, what does that mean for the future of crime in our society? Or what types of programs and strategies are best for lessening that? All those factors matter. If there's a crime that's been increasing, what needs to be done now to make sure that it doesn't continue to increase, but rather we can reverse that trend and make sure that it's on the decline? And then you will never write an assignment in this course where you don't have to tie it back to course information. The more specific, without being verbatim, the better. So if you say, yeah, we talked about crime and victimization in class, that's not a good overlap because that's obvious and it's not giving you any substantive information in your paper. So you need to be able to make sure you're demonstrating knowledge in a way that's conducive to writing a good paper from start to finish that's related to the topic and that is, again, introducing yourself as a novice criminologist. I hope that this information is helpful, and I look forward to reading your first assignment if you choose to submit it.